This is my simulator, my sim rig. In this video, I'm going to give you 5 things I don't regret buying, and maybe if you don't already have it, maybe you should look into it. Or you can just complain about it down in the comments and tell me yours is better. That's up to you. Now these 5 things are in no order whatsoever. They're just totally random. But my first thing I don't regret buying is a good ultra-wide monitor. This is a Samsung 49-inch ultra-wide monitor. And while I personally do hate Samsung as a brand, and I try not to buy anything Samsung, one thing Samsung does really, really well is screens. Whether that's TV screens, monitors, they're really good. And this one is great. Not only is it 49 inches and ultra wide, it has one hell of a curve. You see this piece of profile here? That is straight. This monitor, however, is far from it. Because there's quite a few 49-inch ultra-wides on the market. Some of them don't have much of a curve. They're like an 1800 curve or 1500 curve. This is more than that. This is like 1000R, so it's even more curved. So the good thing about that is you can get the middle of the display really, really close to the steering wheel, and then the rest of the screen kind of wraps around you. And that does help with field of view and getting all the angles right. Because if you have the monitor further back, all of a sudden your field of view is a lot less. Now, if you can't have your monitors this close, then maybe triple screens might be better for you. But with the 49-inch ultra-wide, you don't get the bezels, but you still get really good field of view if you can get it super close to your wheel. Now, this particular 49-inch ultra-wide has really good colors, really good viewing angles, 240 hertz. It's absolutely stunning. And I highly recommend a good monitor for sim racing. Now, speaking of monitors, that'll bring me on to the second thing I don't regret buying for sim racing. While I do like my 49-inch ultra wide, I do like games with VR support. And for me, I've tried a lot of different VR headsets. And I mean, this channel is kind of VR sim racing, but it's kind of VR in sim racing as well. I've done a lot of VR stuff on this channel, and I've had your Vives, I've used Pimax crystal lights and Metas and all that stuff. But for me, the best value for money headset for sim racing that I don't regret buying is the Meta Quest 3. It's not super expensive, it's got a good screen on it, the lenses are very clear, you can use it wirelessly and you can use it wired. And I find it to be much better than the Quest 2 before it, and a bit better than the 3S. So this is one really good thing that I really love, and I'd hate to be without. But then of course you've got all the other meta stuff combined in there for other stuff as well. Standalone games, all that stuff, but that's not for this video. Now the next thing I don't regret buying for sim racing is good sim racing equipment like SimMagic. This is my SimMagic Alpha Evo 12 Newton meters with the GT Neo wheel on it. I love this combo. I'm glad I didn't not cheap out, but well, a little bit cheap out. I'm glad I didn't go the 9 Newton meters. I'm glad I paid a little bit more for the 12 Newton meter. And I think when you're buying a good wheelbase and wheel, it's good to go at least middle-ish range. Of course, if you can afford it. Now look, I love my SimMagic gear. I do have others here from Camus, Fanatic under there, at all your Logitechs and Thrustmasters. But for me, my favorite is SimMagic. Super smooth, lots of details, good quality stuff that will hopefully last a long time. Good ecosystem. Buy into a good ecosystem. Buy into quality stuff. Go 12 Newton meters and go a little bit higher than the base stuff, so you don't have to upgrade again and buy more stuff again. Spoil yourself a bit. Obviously, the same goes for pedals and things as well. Just buy yourself good quality sim equipment. Now, the next thing I don't regret buying for sim racing is a profile rig. Profile rigs are great. They're highly adaptable, changeable. You can move things around very easily, very customizable. If you want a headphone hanger, you can just get a bar and like bolt it on, or like a 3D print like a headphone hanger or a cup holder, easily bolted on. Here I have a microphone. I did the same thing down there. I just got a pole, and that's now what this is mounted to, right? I can easily adjust all where the seat sits. I can lay these down, I can make it flat, I can make the seat higher. Same with all the pedals, the wheelbase. You can always get more profile and just bolt it on, expand. I've had rigs like the Next Level Racing FGT rig before, and I was just never comfortable in them on the set positions that they have. I just could never get it right. Also, not expandable. Okay, so this rig I designed and built all myself through some Makehead software. I've got a video on all that stuff if you wanted to do that. But really, if I'm being honest, you could probably just buy a cheap profile rig off like simrigs.com or Track Racer or something like that, and probably do it cheaper, add some stuff on if you needed to. But I definitely recommend a profile rig if you're gonna buy a sim rig. You'll probably never need another one. And even if it's got a bit of a cheap pedal plate or something on it, you can always design a new one and then whack that on. It's just profile, right? Buy yourself a good profile rig. Strong, easily upgradable. Next! The next thing that I think is a really good buy that I did like quite a lot is these things here. Tactile transducers. I have 4 of these, 1 on each side of the seat and 2 under the pedal plate there, sitting round about where my heels sit. Now, those tactile transducers are hooked up to these 2 amplifiers here. Now, these tactile transducers are actually of a lot more benefit maybe than some people think they are. Now, some people know them as butt kickers, and you can buy butt kickers. They're pretty expensive though. This particular setup that I made is probably a little bit cheaper overall. You got 4 of them, and in my opinion it works a bit better. I'll leave a link down in the description of the video that I did setting these up, how I set them up and all that stuff. But the good benefit of tactile transducers is they actually made me faster. Why? Because I always had this issue where I was always trying to be too fast, and sometimes by being too fast you're actually slower. Sounds weird, I know, but sometimes slow is fast. And with tactile transducers and having each wheel set up in SimHub correctly, it allows you to feel what's happening with each tire. And if you're pushing a little bit too much, or one of the wheels tires is a little bit under too much pressure, then you feel that. You're pushing a little bit hard in the corner. You're going a little bit too fast through a corner. You feel the back end starting to vibrate in one of the tires because the car's starting to slide. And you understand that a lot more with tactile transducers. So for me, I believe tactile transducers are of a great benefit when it comes to speed, and not only speed but kind of reliability in the sense of like you're not going to spin as much necessarily because you're understanding how the car handling and what it's doing. And on top of that, you've got more of an immersion factor. You can set up gear shifts, so each time you change the gear you can feel a bit of a woof, woof. You got the ripple strips. When you go over ripple strips you can feel the vibration. It adds that extra level that your static sim doesn't have if you don't have a motion rig, and let's be honest, most people don't. Anyway, I'm sure there's going to be another video coming up very soon. 5 things I do regret buying for sim racing very shortly. Thanks for watching this video, everybody. Hit that like button if you'd like to subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you in the next video.